sent him to Afghanistan and then into Iraq. The bullet that came screaming out went deep into his rack. He hit the ground, but his grenade found enemy on track. He ain't gonna jump no more.
And today on Have a Knife Day, we're going to be talking about buoys. This is my first A.G. Russell design knife, and this is called the Sandbox Bowie. Now, there are two other well, they're not buoys. There are two other knives in the Sandbox series, and one is a camp knife, and the other one is a hunter utility. And I chose the Bowie. Who is A.G. Russell? Born in 1933. Taught how to make knives by his great-grandfather. They grew up in a small town in Arkansas. And his dad joined the military and went to Bataan. And if you know anything about history, you know what happened to Bataan. He did become a POW for a while. And after that, he was a military brat, and, you know, they traveled across the United States, finally ending up in around the area of San Francisco. And he ended up back in Arkansas. And going forward from that, what I'm going to do, because to be quite honest with you, they have an entire video about Mr. Knife, who is A.G. Russell. This is the guy who laid the foundations. You see a guy laying foundations and putting those bricks down? That was Mr. A.G. Russell, Mr. Knife. And one of his famous sayings was, "I never met a knife that I didn't like." So with that in mind, let's get on to the knife itself. So here is this sheath. Now, Mr. A.G. Russell himself did, much like his father, spend some time in the military. He was in the U.S. Army. So, you know, when I bring you a knife, I want you to understand the who behind the design, behind the knife. And his military background really shows through in his designs, because he understands in the military, ounces equal pounds. And if you're in places like Iraq or Afghanistan or anywhere in the Middle East or where have you, you want to be able to carry something, but at the same time, it can't weigh like a ton of bricks. Okay, it needs to be practical and needs to be multi-use. This might go from opening up crates, opening up MREs, to digging you a foxhole, to, you know, chopping to make hooches, and possibly your enemy. That's the reality of it. So let's take a look at this beautiful nylon sheath. Now, you see the grommets here? Well, that's so that you can wrap it around your leg so it doesn't flop around. Now, this pouch here is a good size, and they say in the descriptions, and I'll post those up a little bit, that it can hold a large knife. And to prove the point, here it is. This is the CRKT Clever Girl, designed by, and well, in conjunction with CRKT, it is the person behind that design would be Austin McGlone, our favorite one-legged pirate knife maker. So there's this, and Mr. McGlone was in 101st, and that is the Army. So there you go. But what else could you put in there? Oh, gee whiz, you could put your Leatherman's tool on there, or any one of your multipliers. Boop, just like that. So over here, you'll see these two snaps. The snaps are embossed with an anvil and a blade. That's pretty darn neat. That makes me happy. Over here, you'll notice that today's military, my generation, was something known as the Ellis system. But that was a couple of years ago, and now they use something called Molly. Molly has these little straps on the gear, your rucksack, your plate carrier, drop leg, etc. And you use this here, and you weave it in and out of the loops, and that really, really secures it to your gear. Okay. Over here, if you want to wear it on a belt, you grab this here, hook loop, aka Velcro, and a snap. Put your duty belt, that's pretty wide for a duty belt. You can put a regular belt on there like I do. Put that over here. And we'll see if I can do this the first time. And snippety snap, and there you go. So let's open this up and take a look at the knife itself. So here you go. Look at that clip point. This is nice and dark. Oh my goodness. It's nice and sharp too. These are here. So what I've said in my other videos is what's better than a knife? Well, than a spear. Or maybe even a halberd, you know, depending on what you want to do. So if you're in a situation, you could go get yourself a nice long stick, strap it to that, and well, gee whiz, you can fend off bears or, you know, the enemy of our countries, whoever they may be at the present time. And you could use it to hunt and maybe fish and even to defend yourself, okay? So this is called Rucarda, not micarta. We'll go into that a little bit deeper in a little bit. And this handle is hollow. That's right. Not mahalo, but hollow. That's right. You take this out, you could put maybe some fishing gear in there, or maybe some other things, maybe some tinder or what have you, maybe a little, you know, some Neosporin or, you know, anything you think of, you could probably put it in, fit it in there. You know, I'm getting tongue-tied here. And then this is, of course, a full tang. There's your lanyard holder. You probably could use that to break a window if you need to. Flip it over. Take a look at the other side. And right here, move my finger out of that blade. That's A.G. Russell CM1 USA. This is made in the USA. So I'm going to put this over here. Now, if you know me, and please do, this is the one I'm going to ask you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's right, because when you subscribe, you can get to see more of my videos. When you like, it lets the YouTube's notorious algorithms know that you like what I'm doing. And I'm doing this. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I do this for the love of the hobby and the joy of sharing it with like-minded people. And maybe I can introduce you to a knife that you want to add to your collection. Okay. Put this over here. Now, with that out of the way, you know, one of the things I like to do is have aftermarket sheaths made. So this is made by a prior service Army veteran by the name of Micah. He lives back east. I do believe Maine. I could be right. I could be wrong. But he does fantastic kydex. I have many sheaths. I'm probably helping him pay his bills by getting him so much work. And that's great because I like supporting veterans. Multiple lanyard points. A cat. There's a cat over here. That's Mr. Jet. He's up to no good. I like to wear mine on a belt loop. You can see that it is embossed with an American flag. The mounting plate. We have an Exotac here. And its own little holster. He says, I'm surrounded by stickers with my face on it. That's right, Jet. So here's that Exotac. It has some shock cord on it. Now, the interesting thing about this is you open it up and it's got fluff. That's right. That's tinder, my friends. That is tinder. No, you can't find no dates on this one. And this is also replaceable. So if you use this, ferro rod up and unscrews. And then you can screw in a new one. That's right, buddy. How you doing? This is my neighbor's cat. Jet is my neighbor's cat. He's not mine, but I feed him so he thinks that I am his servant. That's right. He likes to keep an eye on me to ensure his investment. So here we go. Excuse me. Click that in and give it a shake. No rattle. No, except for me hitting stuff, of course. You know, and there you go. A fantastic modern kydex sheath. That's right, buddy. And a nylon, if you so desire. The good thing about Black Bear is if you want a pouch or something to hold a multiplier or something, well, he can make you something that'll hold it. They do recommend, and you'll hear about this later in the descriptions and all the details and what have you, about carrying an Allen in your kit, so you could take off the scales. So you could, if you're going to turn this into a spear, I recommend that you take off the scales so you can get a nice tight fit. Take a sizable branch, slice it down the center, insert the full tang into it, and then tightly wrap it with maybe some leather, some paracord, or maybe even zip ties. A lot of zip ties. Maybe one of these days, I'll be out in the woods long enough so I can show you. Gee whiz, imagine that if that happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you over to the specifications, the details, and what have you. And at the same time, I just want to remind you, I'm going to be putting the link in the descriptions because somebody did a really good job about showing the life history of Mr. Knife A.G. Russell. And I'm going to let you go over and watch that, and we'll be right back. The A.G. Russell Sandbox Bowie is a fixed type blade with a Bowie shape. The blade length is 8 inches. The finish is chromium carbitride. Blade steel is DM1 with a Rockwell of 58 to 59. The handle is green rucata in his full tang. The overall length is 13 1/4 inches, weighing in at 12.8 ounces with a ballistic nylon sheath with a Kydex liner. And its origin is the USA. As my concept for the Sandbox series was developing, I was looking for a superior high-carbon steel that would hold an edge extremely well and be tough enough for what troops might put it through. In our search for the superior steel, we were presented with the opportunity to acquire a batch of special steel developed by Dan Maragne, the very talented knife maker metallurgist. We worked with Dan to develop a special heat treatment for our use. We even rebuilt salt bath vessels and quench tanks to accommodate the precision hardening of the steel to give us the best possible toughness and edge retention. Our designation for the steel with this special heat treat is DM1. The blade coating is chromium carbitride, better known as diamond light coating or DLC, which is even harder than the steel itself at almost 90 RC. The hardness of the steel is 58 to 59 RC. Because DM1 is a non-stainless steel, the sharpened edge will be subject to rust, so we have coated it with our rust-free to protect it. You should wipe down after a day of use and recoat it with a rust-prohibitive like rust-free. The handle scales are CNC machine green rucata. Phil Gibbs and I developed the omnidirectional pattern for the grooves and the handle material to double the positive grip. With this shape and surface, a guard became irrelevant. We included it for appearance. The holes in the ricasso provide a way for the knife to be secured to a pole or limb for use as a spear or pole arm. We have created a small storage cavity in the handle by cutting an opening through the tang and milling a small hollow in the backside of each handle scale. It measures 1 7/8 by 5/8 of an inch and just over 1/4 inch deep. Carry a 1/8 inch Allen wrench tucked in the pocket of the front of the sheath to access the small emergency items you might store there. While some of the processes to create our Sandbox series are completed outside, the final grind, marking, assembly, and sharpening is done in our shop here in Rogers, Arkansas. The American-made ballistic nylon sheath is made with a Kydex liner for safety. A pouch on the front will hold a large folding knife, and it is MOLLE compatible. Our shop-made program makes maximum use of our assets. Our knowledge of who can do the best job of water jet cutting, heat treat, wire electro-discharge machining, and rough grind all allows the greatest productivity from our rarest asset, the time of our expert knife makers. When our shop has done the finished blade grind by hand, put the handles in place, shape them, and sharpen the blade, and the knife has gone through our quality control, then we can be sure that you have the very best knife we can provide you for the money you are spending with us. All right, and we're back. So I hope you enjoyed learning about this beautiful flip point Bowie designed by A.G. Russell. Now, one of the people who I talked to while doing my research, and let me bring this up here, is a gentleman by the name of Philip Gibbs, and he is the product development manager at A.G. Russell Knives. Because not only do they have their own knives made, they sell other people's knives. It's a big online, it used to be a big mail order. They probably still do, magazines and knife magazines and things of that sort. And at the same time, I have neighbors coming over for Easter to give me something.
Happy Easter.
Wait,
I'm Bianca's godmother.
Oh, very good.
Happy Easter. That's the pork barbecue.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the cat thinks it's awesome too. Sorry about that. I do my, they bought me some pork barbecue. And I have to keep it away from the cat because the cat thinks they brought it for him. So as I was saying, they probably still are a big mail order. I know they have a big online presence now. They have a great facility in Arkansas where you can come over and take a look at their showroom. You can buy knives there and things that are not available online, that are only available at their shop. They have a lot of seconds or what have you, some very unique items. So if you've ever wanted to go to Arkansas, I recommend that you take that opportunity, and you will just be so amazed at the history that A.G. Russell was involved in. He is no longer with us, but I tell you what, his legacy lives on. During the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, well, he ended up sending care packages to our troops. He would send them DVDs, books, pocket Constitution declarations, some combat tweezers, some bandages, and the love that was returned to Mr. Russell and his wife Goldie, because Goldie, there wouldn't be an A.G. Russell Knives that we know of today without Goldie. Miss Have a Knife Day, Miss Rexu, she enables me to do so much. And without Goldie, well, we wouldn't be enjoying probably half of the things that we enjoy today because of Mr. Russell. So how they sent him back flags that were flown over their areas of operation. There is even the first Army group, if I'm not mistaken, it was an Army group. The captain came back on leave and visited the Russells. And he gave them a flag that he carried on him, I do believe, for a year. And that really, really touched the heart of the Russells. Because, you know, I mentor people who have gone into the military. I'm there for them. Sometimes that's all you can be for people. So them showing that love from the country, thank you for what you're doing. You know, here's some stuff. Because one of the hardest things about being in a war zone is the boredom. You know, yes, there are brief minutes of, you know, there are times when it's just like, oh crap, you know, the fire and what have you and stuff like that. But when you're not engaging the military, you know, the enemy, you have a lot of busy work and you have some downtime. And gee whiz, man, it sure does get boring. So fortunately, those military members that were in the Middle East and Afghanistan had somebody like Mr. Russell to send them care packages. There you go. So, once again, thank you so much for spending time with me here today. Please do like, share, comments, and subscribe. If you ask me a comment in the appropriate area, I do my best to give you answers. Okay, and I try my best when I'm not working myself to answer your questions as soon as possible. Okay, take care of yourselves. Remember, sometimes the good has to start from you, and then it can spread to others. And as always, grab this. Have a knife day. See you soon.
And then into Iraq, the bullet that came screaming out went deep into his rack. He hit the ground, but his grenade found enemy on track. He ain't gonna jump no more.